Hey guys, it's Alexandra. Today I'm going to be talking with Shane, who I first saw on TikTok, talking about his financial successes. He is only 22 and without a college degree was able to own his own home and his own car, and he is going to be talking a little bit about the importance of blue collar work. But by the time you're watching this, he's also going to probably be up in LA working on a reality TV show, so he'll be talking about that part of his life as well. I hope that you will stay tuned to check out the rest of his story, and you can subscribe for more videos. All right, thank you.
Hey, my name's Shane. I'm 22. I own my own house and all these other crazy things. I never went to college, and here's basically how I did it. So right out of high school, I got a job working for the railroad, and when you work for the railroad, you make a ton of money, but the only reason you make a ton of money is because you never get to spend it because you're always working. So while I was working, wasn't spending any money. I got a credit card, and I would buy my groceries and my gas, things like that, pay it off at the end of every week, and that would help later on to boost my credit and never have to pay interest. After I did that, I got a loan for a pickup truck for $2,500, paid that off long enough for it to appear on my credit. Then I got a second credit card with Discover, and basically do the same thing now. I use it for home improvements. And I worked all the time. I never spent any money, and that's literally the secret. Is you have to work a lot. You have to dedicate everything to making money and being smart financially. I mean, they're amazing tools that school doesn't teach you about. So definitely look into a Roth IRA, 401k, and the stock market.
I came kind of across your content. You have a lot of different content, which I thought was interesting. The first one I came across was probably one of your ones that's the most popular about, your ex leaving and then you auditioning for the reality show that she liked, her favorite reality show. Then
TV show. That reality TV show opened today, where you could see the cast.
Oh, awesome. So what's that all about? What are you audition?
Well, I'll tell you the reality TV show that I am flying to LA for this week. It has not come out yet. It will be a TV show, and I feel like that's as much as I can disclose.
It's exciting.
I had to, sign an NDA, so I can't say anything at all.
I figured, yeah. But I think it's interesting how you didn't just go straight to that as your source of success or quick success or something like that. I thought it was interesting to be able to find out your pretty normal lifestyle, but minus, going to college. I think these days, if people don't go to college, they think you have to be an influencer or you have to do something like that, or you know what I mean? It's either college, or this is at least how I perceive it. It's either college and degree and real job, or influencer type of internet
celebrity.
Hmm?
That either you go to college or you make it as an internet celebrity.
Right, pretty much.
One of the two.
So it was cool to kind of be able to hear from a real person. Hey, I own a house, I'm doing well. I didn't go to college, but you can still do fine not doing that. You don't have to have these wild expectations for what your life needs to be. So if you want to kind of talk a little bit about what you do and, how you got to where you are, that would be awesome.
I come from a small town. I don't have an extremely small town, but my high school, I think it was 300 kids that graduated with me from the public school too, which is a good size. But all in all, we have 3 restaurants here. There's nothing really. So when you grow up here, you don't think of being an influencer. You see people who do it and you watch them, but you don't ever think about it. So that right there was just already out of the picture. And everybody, normally they just grow up here, they live here, they die here. So when I graduated high school, there was a point when I finished high school. My current girlfriend at the time, I was working landscaping, and I was supposed to save up enough money to be able to go all through the schooling period, because I went to welding school, certified to weld. That was just my plan B if the economy ever went bad or I ever wanted to move across the country. Welding is everywhere, so it was a job I could pick up at any place at any time.
Yeah.
I didn't save up enough money. So there was one day we were out to eat, and I didn't even realize that I checked my bank account, and I didn't even have enough for both of us to eat. So I let her. I was like, "This sucks," and I never wanted to feel like that again. So right out of high school, like I said, I was working landscaping. I was making like $12 an hour. Um, and I was getting taxed, so it really wasn't a lot. But I was living at home with my parents, which was nice. And I applied for the railroad, which I thought I wasn't going to get the job, but I ended up getting the job. And from there on, you start out, your pay is not that great, but then once you move up a little bit, your pay gets a lot better really fast. And I just I fell in love with having money. It was nice at the time when I first started working at the railroad. I was still living with my parents, so I went from making $300 or $400 a week to 1,200 to $1,500 a week, and it stacked up so fast. I was like, holy cow, you know. And I was like, well, I'm gonna go get my own place. So I moved out of here, the house that I'm currently in now, and then I went and I was renting a house, and it was the greatest thing ever. And when you move out, you don't realize how expensive things are,
Mhm.
like and cable and all the things you took for granted as a kid, which you do have to work a lot harder for. But you just have to sit down and basically just budget your money and work. I mean, there's it's hard. I mean, it's still hard now. You know, my days are very, very long, and it's only because I did it at a young age. I feel like if I was a little more set up when I moved out and I did these things, it wouldn't be so hard. But reading a lot, learning how to invest your money, I have all helped me. There's been days, very few, but there have been days where I'm like, man, you know, I need to. My fence, for example, my fence is falling down. I just tore down 25 sections of a privacy fence, and I was like, man, you know, I need to start saving up about $10,000 so I can redo that section, and then I'll go and I'll look and I'll find some stocks that I like that are, you know, right now it's kind of like a buyer's market. Everybody's buying and things are going crazy in the stock market, and you know I'll put my money in, and then I'll come back 2 weeks later and it'll double or triple. Um, but it's looking for like the little things that you don't like. School doesn't teach us that, so you have to go out and you have to buy books and you have to watch YouTube videos and you have to learn these things on your own, which gets really hard. I mean, especially for most people once they graduate, because at that point you have to work full time to be able to do things on your own and just to survive in general. So it's a big pain when you have to come home and then study, but you're not in school, but you're studying for yourself. If that makes any sense.
Right. Yeah.
Um, just a lot of investing and a lot of hard work.
How did you, I know heard you talk a little bit about this, but I'd love to know more about like building the credit that you need to have a home.
So when my sister is six years older than I am. So when she graduated high school, I was still in middle school. Oh,
Oh, you popped out.
I'm sorry, my
No.
grandfather, real quick. So I'll tell you. I just messaged him said I'll call him back. But my sister is 6 years older than I am. So when I was in middle school, she had already graduated and she had kids early on. She had a husband early on, and they always struggled because they had really, really bad credit. And my parents had great credit. My mom's credit, I do believe, is almost perfect. My dad's credit was perfect, but he had a back surgery and something came up and the insurance was supposed to cover it. They didn't. And they billed him for it. And he got really mad and he was like, I'm not paying it. And so it brought like a 780, which is still great, but his was, top of the line. And so they could buy anything. They could do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted. My sister could not. She couldn't get a car. She couldn't get any of the basic things that she needed. She couldn't get a loan. Um, and so from that, when my sister started having those issues, my parents really beat it in my head. You have to have a good credit score. So when I graduated, I was 17. As soon as I turned 18, I got a credit card for $500. And my mom told me, she was like, just put your gas, put your food, put all your basic like things that you would buy throughout the week on your credit card. And then at the end of every week, pay it off and you'll never have to pay the interest. And she was right. I still do it to this day. Uh, I probably maximum use maybe $220 a week
And that's like a big grocery haul included, gas. If I'm going out of town or something, it might be a little more, but I use it as a debit card. And with that constant fluctuation of me spending money and then showing I can pay it off, that built my credit to the point to where I got a Discover card after them, and then I would just buy little random stuff that I wanted, whether it be a TV or clothes, a pair of shoes, and it had a $1,500 limit, and so I would go out and I'd spend $1,000 on some stuff, and then I would pay it off over the course of a month, and then I'd go out and I'd buy another $800 worth of stuff, and I'd pay it off in a month, and I'd always pay it off, so I never had to have interest. And just recently is the only time I've ever actually had to make payments on my actual credit card itself. My house flooded, and had to save my house. I had to pocket some quick cash. My debit card actually, I lost it, so I didn't have one. So I put everything on my credit card for a couple of days while we were getting all the stuff to fix my house. But after that, having two credit cards, I went out and I bought a $1,500 beater truck. It was a 2003 Nissan Frontier, and thing was a piece of work. It didn't have any door handles. You couldn't roll down the windows. The heat and the AC didn't really work. But it was just to drive back and forth to work because the roads at the railroad were so bad. But I took a $5,000 loan out on it, and then I just put the $3,500 that I didn't use back into the payment.
Right.
And I just paid that $1,500 for about a year, and then I just paid it off completely, and that affected my credit. And then just small things. I would go get a loan from the bank, and small simple loan, $2,000 or $3,000, and I would just go out and buy like wheels and tires for one of my trucks I had, and I went out and bought wheels and tires for it, and I got a small loan, and then I just paid it back for 6 to 8 months, and then I would pay it off in full. But I always made sure I had the money to buy whatever it is that I had a loan for. So my house is the only thing I've taken a huge loan out on. But whether it be I'm going to the bank to get a $5,000 loan, I'll have $5,000 sitting in my bank account that at any time I could pay it off. So I never really go over that limit. I don't really strive to have like the nicest things at my age. I know kids my age who drive $60,000 trucks, but they have to live at home with mom and dad because they can't get a house because it's so expensive. My car, when I worked at the railroad, I saved up a lot of money. I paid cash for my car. My buddy owned it before I did. It's a 2018 Ford Fusion Sport. It's got all the bells and whistles. It had 38,000 miles, and they only wanted 17 for it. So I walked out of the door 15,000 cash for basically a brand new car with all the bells and whistles. I could have bought, a brand new 4Runner. I could have bought something extremely nice, but I didn't. I stayed within my budget, and I don't really budget, if that makes any sense. My Netflix, my Hulu, my electricity bill, my water bill, all of those. I forget the name of the app. I have it on my phone somewhere. I can shoot you a link when I'm done. I use it, and all your bills basically go on it, and then it shows that every month you pay these like anything else, and it boosts your credit score.
That's good to know. All my subscriptions are on my debit, so I was like, yeah, I can't, you know what I mean? So that's awesome. I would love to look into that.
Oh yeah. I found that like through a TikTok.
Oh, really?
Something Tay. She's a blondish brunette girl, and she's always talking about stocks.
Yeah, I think I interviewed her.
Did you?
Yeah.
She has like she might have a couple million now. That she had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on her page, and I was like, holy cow, okay.
All right, good to know. Yeah, I think it's also interesting, like a good point what you were bringing up. I think along with that whole appeal of like being an influencer, I think comes a lot of like value that people put on material things versus logical purchases. I think that's like that's a whole culture in and of itself where,
Well, I call it, it's a toxic culture, but a $4 wallet and a $40 wallet both hold the same amount. And to me, the $40 wallet holds more because it has an extra $360 in there that it didn't have the $400 wallet.
Right.
I think my wallet is actually a Columbia wallet, which Columbia is it's not like a designer brand. It's a nice brand. They make nice stuff, but I think I bought it from TJ Maxx on Black Friday.
Yeah. Yes.
A wallet for like $9.99.
Yeah, they have good stuff. They have all the name brands.
But all my friends will tell me, I wouldn't say I'm cheap because I'm not cheap by any means, but I am cheap at the same time, if that makes any sense. I like to have nice things, but I like to have affordably nice things.
Right.
Like the nicest thing I probably own, honestly, for like price to what it is my bed. I was sleeping on a futon when I moved out of here. I sold my queen bed. I was like, I don't want it. I want a futon for more space. And when I finally bought this house and everything else, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a good bed. So I went out and spent about $8,500 on my bed. I got a California King with a super nice Tempur-Pedic mattress with a cover that goes over the top of it and an adjustable base. I went all out because I was like, I've been sleeping on this really crappy futon for 3 years now, and I want something that's comfortable, and it's 10 years and I'll never have any issues. And
yeah,
that's like
that.
My bougie purchase.
Right. That makes sense though. Yeah, that's a good tip.
I don't wake up anymore.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You couldn't move, but I love that bed. I love that bed so much. Yeah. I don't spend my houses because I want to come home and sleep in that bed.
I think it's also, do you think people misjudge like trade school and what trades are? I think there's kind of like, people don't really understand what it is. I've always grown up, at least, with people thinking that it's like a kind of like not a real career. You know what I mean?
Well, I would say lately, especially with this whole TikTok through the pandemic, there's been a lot of love to blue collar people.
Yeah, definitely.
Realizes, well, hey, my office job, I'm not getting paid right now, but all those guys that I made fun of for being electricians or linemen are still working and making a lot of money. And so now there's this big trend where girls are like, I want a blue collar guy. And working at the railroad, that's a blue collar job. I left it actually because my dad worked himself to death working a blue collar job. Mm-hmm. And after he passed away, I was like, I'm not going to do the same thing, because at the time I was working about 110 hours a week.
Wow.
And I was I'm not doing this. I'm 22. My heart, how many energy drinks I drink to stay awake, I'm not doing it. I'm not. But trade school, and you're not going to have a building without an electrician, without somebody to build it. Now your architect's going to design it. You know what I mean? Your engineers are going to make the plans. But without your welders to put the beams in, your electricians to run the wires, your buildings aren't going to be anything. So all the cities and all the cool things you enjoy to do are all made by blue collar people. And those jobs are always going to be available. That's why I went to school to weld. I'm certified to weld on just about anything except for underwater and nuclear. And with that, you know what I mean? Just say I fall in love with somebody and they want to move across the country. I can do that. You know what I mean? I'm not held here. I wouldn't say, you know, it's not a college degree, but I have a degree in something that not everybody can do. Mm-hmm. So it allows me to have a backup plan and always have a job no matter what, which are super useful. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe my parents got paid for me to go to tech school, because my grades and all were good enough to get into an actual like division. Like I could have gone to Georgia. Mm-hmm. I had a offer to Sarah Lawrence in New York to be a cheerleader, but I had all these different scholarships, and I was smart enough that I do believe when I went to tech school, I believe my parents got paid for that semester. So you don't pay a lot of money. As soon as you come out, you can get a job making roughly down here $18 an hour, and then all the way up. I mean, I know guys that my cousin makes almost $50 an hour. He works 4 hours a day, Monday through Wednesday, and he gets paid 12 hours a day to work Monday through Sunday.
Yeah,
But that's how good of a welder he is. He can do book hour jobs that fast where he gets paid, half a day every day all week. And he doesn't work. I mean, he works maybe 25 hours a week, but he makes almost $200,000 a year.
yeah.
And I don't know another job that can let you do that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you were able to like feel the love from the TikTok community at least, because yeah, the pandemic I think definitely opened people's eyes a little bit as far as like the importance of that industry. So
And that industry sucks. TikTok makes it sound like it's a great lifestyle. Working a blue collar job, when it's hot, it's hot. When it's cold, it's cold. When it's raining, you're wet. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You eat your lunch, your hands are as black as the screen underneath you. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
got oil and dirt, so your sandwiches taste like grease and oil and dirt. You stink. You're exhausted. You get heat exhaustion. At the end of the day, you'll just have to take a nap, put some ice on your back, keep going. But it does pay good. So if you like good pay and you're not worried about those things, I suggest it to anybody. I miss working outside. I work inside now, and I hate it.
really.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I want to go back.
So how did you get from doing that kind of work to, I mean, I know that you're still working, but how did you even come about the whole reality TV thing?
They reached out to me.
Oh, really?
I didn't think. I mean, we were literally we were sitting here at my house. My buddy Jacob came home. He's in the Navy. We threw a party here. We were all sitting outside by my pool, and my buddy Martin was like, "Shane, did you see your TikTok?" And I was like, "No," because I didn't think it. I had 62 followers, and that was last month on the 21st. And he was like, "Dude, it's blowing up," and it had like 5,000 views, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm famous!" It's crazy. And then it was just kind of like overnight. I just kept posting that same kind of content, which I hate it, but the people love it. So I'd rather do comedy and like teaching and stuff, but it doesn't get the views. It doesn't get. But anyway, so it kind of blew up, and then it was like I had 10,000, 20,000, and I made a video about my bot. Somebody made a comment about my bottles up above, how that meant I was single, and I made a whole about it. And I don't know if they saw that one or one of the other ones, but I was on Instagram and I got a direct message, and it was like, "Hi, I'm so and so with this media company, and these are the shows that we've made. We're working with Fox, blah 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 blah. Would you like to be a part of this?" And I was like, sure, because I thought it was fake. I didn't think it was real. They reached out to me. They called me. They asked me a bunch of questions on my car ride home from work, and I answered them. They're like, "Okay, cool. Well, talk to your parents, talk to your family," because I told them I had to run this by my parents first. Because at this point I was getting a little skeptical. I was like, I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake. But I don't want to make a solid answer yet.
Yeah.
And so I ran it by my mom, and then she was like, I don't believe it. And so they set up a Zoom meeting that following week, 7:00, gave me all these directions on how to dress, everything else. I went in there, and the most nerve-wracking thing of my life, at that point it set in like, yeah, this is real. The lady who interviewed me, she loved me. And then I had to do another interview directly after that. And they're like, "Yo, yeah, we love you. We'll get back with you in a couple of weeks if, we're going to fly you out here and whatnot." And I was like, okay. And I heard nothing for weeks. And I was like, they didn't love me. And then I got a text message and an email, and they were like, "Yeah, if I were you, I'd go ahead and start packing your bags for LA. You're going to be flying out here to start shooting some of this stuff." And I was like, "What? Really? Me? This is awesome."
Wild.
Mom believes it, and she just texted me last night. She was like, "If this is something you want to do, because they always said I have high energy, like Jim Carrey or one of those guys. You need to be on TV. They're like, this is something you want to do, just sell the house. And I was like, baby steps. Get one gig on a reality TV show, sells everything I own.
Oh, well, good luck with it. I think that's awesome. It's cool to see, just you had your regular life together and that opportunity just came to you. It wasn't like you were seeking out that kind of thing.
My whole flipped upside down in this past month.
I bet, yeah.
I don't know how to process it fully. I thought before I would go to work, I would come home and I would be tired. I'm no longer tired because I know when I get home now, I have to brainstorm ideas for TikToks, which I've my life has been so hectic I can't even film anything or do anything right now. I have interview after interview. I have all these different things I have to do, and my day starts at 1:45 in the morning is when I wake up, and then I'm normally not even in bed till 11 o'clock at night. It's 2.5 hours of sleep a night, all day, every day, 6 days a week, and it has just been hellacious. It's been fun. Like it sucks, but it sucks in a good way. Like I go to bed tired, but I also go to bed happy. If that makes any sense.
Good. Yes. I think that's really inspiring too for younger people to hear, like, you don't have to have this quick success. You can work for what you want and you can get what you want, by just being smart with your money.
That has helped me a lot. I honestly, if I wasn't so fine, because a lot of the people at my job now, they work a lot of overtime, a ton of overtime. I've been able to cut back so I can do this whole TikTok thing a little bit more because I'm more financially structured than my coworkers. It allows me that flexibility.
Right.
To have to work 80 hours a week if I don't want to. You know what I mean? I can work. I hate working 40 hours a week. I'll probably work anywhere between 50 to 70 on average. And but with that being said, at the same time, I'm allowed to cut back so I can do these things on the internet. So if I wanted to become an influencer, I could really try. But if I was living paycheck to paycheck, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Right.
I would have all the time. If you just living within my means, I don't eat. I used to have a roommate here because I have a 3-bed, 2-bath, and my mortgage is only $811 a month, I believe, left on the house. I have 2 bedrooms, and I normally try to rent both of them out for $500, and then that covers mortgage, my water bill, and then my cable bill, and then all I have to do is pay the electricity. So that also allows me flexibility because basically all of my bills are paid.
Right.
Everything I work for at this point currently right now is to build credit. I'm at that stage in my life. I want really good credit. I'm close to an 800. I really want an 800 by the end of the year, but I don't know. I just can't get it to bump up past, like, I'm in a hump right now. So
yeah, I think it's awesome just to see hard work because you see so much, especially online. Like you don't get to interact with the people as much, so you just see like this immediate, like from 0 to 100, or
right.
They already had their foot in the door somehow, and that's why they're blowing up, or they're blowing up. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, that kind of like superficial reason. So it's nice to see the work that goes on, underneath.
I started at a $2,000 car, and then I moved up to a $5,000 car, $5,000 car to a $1,500 pickup truck. And then from that, I saved up enough money to get me a decent car for $15,000. But it took me this year. I've had the car for a year, so it took me. I bought my first car when I was 15. It took me 6 years. I've missed holidays. I've missed family vacation. I haven't taken a vacation. Be 22, and you see all these people on social media. They're always traveling. Since I was 18, I want to say, like an actual vacation. I've missed family events, and that all comes with it. But at the same time, I know hopefully 15 years from now, I will be a lot more. won't have to. My goal is to be retired by 40 is what I want. I want to be able to have that option, or at least retire my spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Like their job or they have a hard day and they're like, I'm over it. I can just say, hey, just quit your job. We're fine. We're good. We're good. So that's why I work so hard now. And my family thinks I'm crazy. They all absolutely hate me. I don't the family events. My nieces started softball. Apparently she's a great softball player. I've been to like 2 games over 4 years.
Yeah.
I went to Easter. I didn't go to Christmas. I didn't go to Thanksgiving. And it's sad. It's lonely. It's lonely when you have to work hard, but you have to go through that phase where you have to get comfortable being alone. That's why I say it's for everybody. Everybody just thinks you can go out and work real hard for a couple months and then you'll be set. And it's not that way. Because as soon as, especially for me, in my case, as soon as you feel like you start getting a hit, something happens, and it's just life.
Mm-hmm.
Something all, and like I bought my house. I was super ecstatic. My girlfriend at the time, we were moving everything in. We were getting everything ready. Life was great. I had a nice nest egg saved up. Everything was perfect. Cabinet fell, crushed the toilet, flooded 50% of my house.
Yeah.
$20,000 in damages. My mom's homeowner's insurance, because I bought my childhood home, but my mom's homeowner's insurance ended on the 20. It was like the 25th, and mine picked up on the 1st, and my house flooded on the 28th. So I had to pay out of pocket. My entire savings account went out, went right out the window.
Oh.
I had to get new floors. I had to get new sheetrock. New wires ran. New cabinets. Everything. Everything had to be replaced. So I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Life always, I don't know, finds a way to beat you down, but as long as you work hard, you'll be fine. But it's just when you're working hard, there's going to be things that make you go, why am I doing this? Why am I always alone? Why am I always working 80 hours a week and my friends are only working 40 hours a week, and you're going to see them on social media having a great time, going out, seeing new cities. They're going to be with their girlfriends or their boyfriends or whoever they're with. They're going to be with their family, and you're just going to be like, man, I really want that. But you just have to make a decision. If you want things at a young age,
Yeah.
that I have to do this for me.
Yeah.
Which is when my dad passed away, I had to take the reins of the house, and so at that point I had to take care of me and my mom. So I paid the bills here, and I paid the bills at the house that I was renting, and she got her life insurance money to make sure she was squared away. But then once as soon as that happened, it was all or nothing from there, and it struck a side of me, and I've never worked this hard before in my life, but we're here. You know what I mean? We have nice things. We can kick back and relax. And there's days. I mean, even I say you gotta work really, really hard. There's days now where I just like to sit back when I can, and when you finally do get that time to relax, it just makes it that much sweeter. To sit by the pool with friends, you just enjoy it. There's just something different about it. You enjoy it so much more because I can look out, I can look over everything that I have, and I can go, I did this. This is all me. And it's crazy because 5 years ago, I was in high school. I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I had $17 to my name. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a social media influencer. I'm not a college graduate. I'm just a regular Joe who just stuck his head down and did what he had to do.
Yeah. And it's, you would think that somebody who does have a college degree or is college educated is going to be so much better off. And really, this day and age, I don't really know if that's the case, because there's a lot of people that graduate and they're like, like, what now? I can't find a job.
There are certain degrees that are a doctor, a lawyer. I feel like you need a degree in that. I mean, really not. I wouldn't say a lawyer. It's not hard to study law. It's just the way I feel. I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to like study laws. But like accounting, I have a cousin who's an accountant, and he's actually blown away with my math skills and how well I can do math and add and subtract numbers and multiply and divide and do just basic math. He was
Mhm.
like, "You'd make a great accountant." And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not going to school."
Right.
But you know what I mean? I feel like people just have like things that they're good at. Like for me, it's math. I'm very very good at math, and I could be very successful as an accountant,
Mhm.
but I would have to go to college for that. But just say there was a tech program that you could go to, and it would, you probably wouldn't start out at the same spot, but you could work your way up. I feel
Mhm.
like that's more beneficial to to some kids, because there's kids like me. I'm not going to sit through 4 years of college and go and learn how to be an accountant when I know I'm really good at math. I can learn what I need to on the job
Mhm. Yeah.
and work in so many different fields. I can honestly say that is the greatest learning you can do. I went from landscaping, I went from making pizzas to being a landscaper to learning how to run heavy equipment. Just because I said, all right, get up there and do it, and then they showed me the basics, and then you just practice at it. Couple weeks, you're gold. Left that, went to the railroad, learned all about how trains work, switches, the lines, how they read them, how the lights work, uh, and started learning how to actually operate an engine. At 18 years old, I was running engines in our yard. Um, yeah, you could go take a year-long course on how to do that. They send you to a class to do that, and you're not technically allowed to run an engine without doing that. But the guys in our yard were like, "Man, it's not hard. Here's how you do it," and they would let you do it in the yard, and I would run the engines. And I feel like I was a good. They always said I was a good engineer. But then when it would have been my turn to go to class, they would have been blown away with how much I knew and how good I was, because I already had hands-on experience in that
Yeah.
field. So
Right.
like if our educational system could change more that way,
Mhm.
it'd be a lot better. You cut out years of college.
Yeah. I
You
totally agree.
tens of thousands of dollars in debt for all these kids. Because that puts college graduates way behind tech school. You know what I mean? You might have graduated at 25 or just say 28 as an anesthesiologist, but you're also $450,000 in college debt. Where Tom, who is a lineman, now makes $175,000 a year. You're going to make 250, but Tom makes 150. He's has no debt. He has a house, a truck. He's
Yeah.
got all of it. He has nothing to pay back. To where now you have student debt. You got to find a place to live. You got all these different things, and that puts you that much farther behind.
Yeah. Yeah. I more and more, I am in college. I'm about to graduate. So the more that I, you know, get to the end of my schooling, I reflect a lot on people that chose different paths. And, I think depending on the demographic that you grow up in, at least for me, it was kind of just like expected that that's what you do. Like there really wasn't, you know what I mean? That was just like what you did. And, it's just important, I think, to recognize that just because it's normal to do that doesn't mean it's the best thing for you.
And everybody, you know what I mean? Everybody has different things that make them tick. Even though I grew up in the South, you know what I mean? I might like, I don't know, being a professional rollerblader. Yeah, you know what I mean? So maybe I have to go to LA and find a job to be a professional rollerblader for music videos. Uh, but you're not going to get anything like that down here. You're not going to get, you know what I mean? You're not going to learn how to do these things. And I feel like that's an issue with a lot of kids, because some kids don't have, you know what I mean? When they turn 18, they don't have the money to go chase their dreams,
Right.
or and they have no idea, especially, I mean, like lower income neighborhoods and houses and things like that. You know what I mean? Those kids have a hard time as it is already. Um,
Yeah.
when they turn 18, I feel like those kids have advantage over kids that were raised in high income areas. I really do. Um, because they already know what it's like to have nothing.
Right.
So they're hungry. They want that California king size bed. They
Mhm.
want to be able to put their thermostat on whatever temperature they want. They want a toilet that works,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
uh, and that makes them work that much harder. and it you know what I mean. You can tell where kids that grew up. For example, there's a guy, there's a boy that lived down the road from me in a neighborhood, and it's the richest neighborhood in our county. His dad has an airplane in his garage. They took, they took summer vacations to Europe, loaded. He's, I don't know how to describe him. He's very, very lazy, very after high school, you know what I mean? He went to college, he partied, he dropped out. I think he works at I want to say Hibbett's right now. Just because he knows mommy and daddy will take care of him. So there's not that hunger to try to succeed. To where I have a buddy named Noah who also grew up down the road from me, and he lived in a trailer with 13 or 14 people. There was stuff everywhere. He used to come over all the time. We'd hang out, and he now owns his own construction company. And I mean, it's still up and coming, but I think last year, he said he made $100,000 as a total for his company. But in your first year, $100,000 in construction isn't bad. So the difference between him growing up in a trailer with 13 people and saying, I don't want this life, and then this other guy goes down the road and he's like, it'll be fine.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a great point.
Everybody just has their own little thing, I guess. So.
Well, thank you so much for sharing with me. I think it's really important to hear like those stories of hard work and, wanting what you didn't have. I think that's a great point to bring up. So I hope that you keep talking about stuff like this on your TikTok too. I know you do a lot of other stuff too.
Over to that.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I look forward to hearing more of your stuff, and I wish you luck too on your reality TV show. Maybe you'll be famous. Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. You can interview me for real. I'll be your first.
Oh, that'd be awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was great meeting you.
Great meeting you too.
All right. Take care. All right.
Bye.
We'll be in touch.